see the Lake Superior seagulls have found us. They frequently fly out here when we're doing field work. I suppose they're picking up worms and bugs and things that we're kicking up as we cover the soil. Hey, good morning everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Dave here from Rolling Hills Farm. Well, we're hitched up with the disc and harrow for one last pass after this little bit of rain on the first field. You can see we're all hitched up here. We've got a beautiful dry day. In fact, we've got a stretch of 3 dry days. So I'm hoping to get the seed in this field yet this morning, and then move on to field number 2 and field number 3 over the next couple days and get everything seeded. We're really late. Man, we would like to have been in the field sooner, but we just had too much moisture. So we're going to get to work, and we're going to finish these fields and get some seeding done. Well, you can see we're getting a little bit of dust now, and the disc is breaking up the clods of soil that I was having trouble with last week, because the field is dry enough. And dust is not too bad yet, but I think over the course of this morning, with this warm sun and the breeze, that it'll dust up pretty good. So I'm going to get over the top of this one time, and then this field will be ready to go for seeding. It shouldn't take me too long with the disc and the harrow together to get this soil bed prepped so we can get seed in this morning. So this is our Dion seed and Timothy and Allsike in these bags that we're putting in the seeder right now. The seed oats in the large front container, and Dawn's putting the hay seed, which is Timothy grass and Allsike clover, in the rear seeder. And then as we drive, the seed drops through these tubes being driven by this drive shaft and that drive shaft at precisely the right rate that we want planted in the ground. And you see these disc openers travel along and cut a little slot in the ground that the oats drop into, and then there's packing wheels back there that close the slot that the seed has been dumped in. So if you look behind the disc openers, you can see the oats that are being put in the row all the way along. And the disc opener is closing, or the closing wheel is closing up the trench. So, good seed to soil contact and good planting depth. So let's stretch it out, and we'll get going at field speed and see if it continues to turn. We'll get along at a pretty good clip When I get up to full speed, when I'm confident everything's working the way I want, we'll seed 5-6 miles an hour out here. It won't take long at all. This first track is a little bit on the, I'm overlapping out into the field edge, but that won't hurt anything. We'll just have kind of a ragged edge of oats and hay from the existing hay field, which we'll trim up when we cut that hay, because we'll bale this hay off this section of the field before we combine these oats. So checking seed depth, it was running a little bit shallow. So I put a little more pressure on it. I've got it down a little over, well, as best I can tell, 1.5 inches. I was running less than that, maybe between 1 inch and 1.5 inches, depending on the row. So I've applied a little more pressure from this power down seeder, and I've got it down there just a little deeper. My target depth for seeding is 1.5 inches. Conditions look good. The seeder seems to be working fine after our rebuild this summer. So our plan is to put the north half of this field into seed oats, or into oats, and the south half of the field will be in rye, and with hay seed spread all the way across the whole thing, underneath the small grain crop. So we'll see how that all works out today. Well, now we're back in the second field today. First one's done, and still pretty dusty out here, and plenty warm. And we're putting down barley in this field with alfalfa underneath. And this barley will be part of our feed ration this winter, that allows us to reduce the amount of corn we buy. And because barley is just a little bit more like corn as far as feed value, higher feed value for the steers. So it allows us to cut costs a little bit and grow more of our own feed. Hey everybody, next morning back out to the first field. You can see it's all seeded except for this front corner, and that's too wet. We're gonna have to give that a week or more to drain out before I can get in there and disc just that little section right there. The hilltop is good, but the low spots are still wet. So it's a really hazy morning today, and the haze is from fires up in Canada, and it's supposed to last for a few days here. So it's actually clear this morning, early morning. You just can't tell because of the haze. So what we're back here to do this morning is roll this field with the old packer. You can see I've got the packer all greased up on Dawn's tractor, and we'll just go over this field at a pretty high rate of speed. And what the packer does is eliminate the little ridges, smooth out the tire tracks, and you can see there's little spots where there's some seed showing. And that'll all cover over. For hay ground, we want the field really smooth, because it'll be 7 or 8 years before we get into this field and seed it again. And so you want a nice smooth seed bed for baling hay and mowing hay. So that's what we're gonna do. We'll top dress this with biosolids probably next year. It received a pretty significant amount of biosolids 2 years ago, and it will, you know, that's how we keep fertility up out here. It helped to plow under the old seeding, which is getting pretty tired, and we're starting to show invasive species, willow and alderbrush. So that's the reason we plowed this last fall. And we'll continue to march across this field, reseeding it over the next couple of years. There's another, you know, we've done 14 of the 25. So another 11 acres that we'll reseed, and I like to do them in 6 to 8 acre chunks. It's just manageable for the equipment that we have. Thanks for watching. Stick with us. We've got more as the summer goes on.